Everybody saw it.
Supposedly.
Okay.
She was in the store threatening customers with a knife.
Just a woman.
Just a woman.
Just hanging.
Yes.
Threatening customers.
After the holidays.
She must have took it from the butcher. She went back there. He didn't give her a piece of meat she wanted.
You know,
well, hey, actually, though, at 541, that might not have been the whole story. They didn't tell you how big the knife was or anything.
Wait a minute. Did you interject by saying at 5:40?
He sure did. I noticed that. I wasn't going to call attention to it, but I said.
That was smooth. At 5:41, you know, she might not have. Did this happen at 5:41 yesterday?
No, I think it happened.
Or is it 5:41 right now?
Well, now it's 5:42. That's 18 before 6.
That's something I ain't good at yet.
Well, if we're going to talk about the time, then why not talk about the weather as well? It's cold outside.
I think everybody knows it's cold.
Height
It's 3 below.
25.
It's about 19 over here, 24 at the Midway at the lake. It's about 24 as well, and it's windy as heck out there. How's that for you?
Excellent.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Punctuation necessary.
Okay.
You know, also 40,000 AT&T employees. They're going to be laid off, receiving pink slips over till about 1998, and you have to realize, what are these people going through all of a sudden, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you come to work, you come back on the high from New Year's, from Christmas and things like that, and they say, well, here you go.
40,000?
Across the nation.
Across the nation.
AT&T.
And there's a few thousand that work here in the Chicago area, right?
That's right.
Now, that's amazing, man. 40,000. Mm-hmm. But see, that is the... This is the system that America has created.
Mm-hmm.
It is imperative that you understand that the rich people of this country that run corporate America are not about to be any less rich.
And because it's something like 90-some% of... I'm sorry. It's less than 5% of the nation owns 90% of the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the rest of the 5% is split amongst the rest of us. And if I had that kind of money, I'd be trying to hold on to it too. But I don't know that I would do it at the expense of yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about did you hear that comment on the news last night? Dude was like, AT&T is realizing that, you know, they have to work for the shareholders, and if it comes down to the employees and the shareholders, then the shareholders come first.
Well, I mean, you know, that's it. The shareholder is who?
Exactly.
People who have purchased shares in AT&T. Who purchased shares in AT&T? There is a study out that we as black people are the first generation of blacks to purchase stocks, annuities, and mutual funds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the first generation that's doing it where it's of notice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, your parents may have had a couple of stocks
right.
in there, but this is the first generation of blacks who are purchasing stocks,
who investing.
Annuities, investments, things of that nature. So, you know, you have a situation here where the people who are purchasing shares in different corporations, for the most part, are upwardly mobile people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't have, when you make investments in stock, that's money that you can afford to have sitting
mm-hmm.
and losing.
And lose, right.
Possibly.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem, I think, comes down to is that if we're the first generation of black people to be investing, imagine how much is already gone of those stocks. You know what I'm saying? There are people who buy blocks, and that goes to their families from the time, you know what I'm saying, from way back in the day when our grandparents and great-grandparents were still slaves, till now. And so a large portion of that wealth is already gone, and we're just trying to get at a piece of it. And the thing is that how are any of us going to really benefit from it? Individually we can, mm-hmm. but as a whole, I think a lot of times, and that was what, my thought was for today or whatever. It's like a lot of us keep going and keep on going, and don't forget about the people that are left behind that maybe cannot afford to even scratch for the little bit of piece that the rest of us are trying to scratch for.
Right.
You know?
Well, the bottom line actually is new technology. We're always striving for new technology and better ways and faster ways and easier ways of doing things, but it also eliminates positions when you have new technology.
Right, but when you eliminate how many thousand?
40,000, and that's not even the minimum.
This ain't cause a new computer came in. This is simply because the rich of corporate America see a change in the bottom line. And how do you fix the bottom line? Well, you fix the stuff in the middle, you know, and you get rid of the lesser man.
Right.
But I will say this, and I know this may be going way off of where we're at, but it is imperative for us as a people, for everybody, for blacks and whites who find themselves in these positions of work and jobs, it is imperative that you constantly strive to put yourself in a position where you are not beholding to anyone.
That's right.
Because morally, God gave no one the right to control your life. No one. That ain't in the Quran. That ain't in the Bible. That ain't in nothing. Nobody reads of religious literature. He gave no one the right to control your life. It is up to you. So a lot of times we find ourselves in these positions, but we have not prepared ourselves
living paycheck to paycheck
for any other way. And I think that's something we have to consider. Business, own businesses, start our own thing.
There you go.
Because the last person you gonna lay off is you.
Right.
And it's really a sad commentary, especially blacks. We have like $4 million that we basically give out to other people. You know, we don't invest back in our communities, politically, socially, economically. You know what? We're at the bottom of the bottom rung. You know, so what do we do? What do we say to our youngsters? What do we say to our teenagers? What do we say to ourselves? You know, that what would promote us in relation to, you know, garnering those businesses and things like that. You know, we can say it, but going out there and doing it, that's the whole issue. You know, what can I say to somebody? You know, you can do what I do by me and use me an example in relation to, you know, probably bettering yourself. But to really motivate people, to motivate the black community, not only here nationwide, worldwide. Even a lot of people worldwide even stick together, blacks worldwide stick together better than we do here in America.
Well, but,
so what's the whole issue now in relation to, we've had the Million Man March, we get ready to have a family march, supposed to be next year on the same day.
Right.
So what's going to really cement us where we can say, hey, everybody else is doing, the Jewish community is doing, the Italian community is doing, the Polish community is doing, why isn't the black community doing it?
Well,
I think that may be, I understand where you're coming from and I agree with you. But let's also understand that propaganda exists in this country.
That's right.
And that I don't think that black people are in as critical of a position as we are constantly made out to be, because we find ourselves comparing ourselves to everybody else. But this world as a whole is shot.
yeah.
Polish people are shot. Jewish people, they ain't as together as you like for it to seem. Italians are not all that. They have problems within theirs too. Ours is heightened. Ours is heightened because of propaganda.
And because the focus of the media, a lot of times, when something happens, it seems like, when something negative happens, it seems like it's always happening in the hood. And in addition to that, also, is the fact that, like you were saying, worldwide, you know, a lot of people compare blacks living in America as the third world. And it's true when you talk about, you know, as far as the living standards go, but when you talk about places that are abroad, you know, that are still having massive problems, even in Africa, it's, you know, it's still a serious situation. And even then, you know, so how do you change, you know, how do you change the world order so that all of the, because if it's bad here as far as the number of the few people owning the most of the wealth, it's even worse in third world countries like in Asia. Look at what's happening, population explosions in, you know, China and Japan, etc. I mean, and
but that's what I was talking about. But sort of socially and culturally, they have like a cohesiveness. We don't seem to have that here in America.
I don't think that's true.
I do believe that.
Really?
I believe that to be the fact.
Well, I think
in some communities, maybe.
Well, you can say some communities, but the majority of black people here, we do not have that cohesiveness.
Well, now I understand that to be true, and then we come. Our history of cohesiveness began and stopped in Africa. When we were brought here, we were separated. We were taught to disdain one another. We were taught different languages. We were taken, stripped of our culture, our pride, our dignity. We were taken our families away from us. We where we were made to feel just less than human. You know, your mama's gone, your daddy's gone, you ain't seen none of your brothers, and we were stripped of that. But that was all a plan of slavery. At the Million Man March, there was a speaker that came up, I don't remember his name, who explained this whole concept of how, well, it was Farrakhan, what am I talking about? He explained this whole thing about this letter that this original...
Willie Lynch letter.
The Willie Lynch letter, where he had written over on the West Indies or something to explain how to
make a slave
mentally. And this letter was sent to all slave owners, and it was successful. This letter was deep, and this letter exists today.
Right. I mean, we're starting at a disadvantage. As far as, I mean, slavery is such a unique perspective. I mean, this is the only place where slavery